Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here. Today, we're going to continue our Commander Mastery guides with Double C. Now, it's been, oh man, about 2 years and some change since I've started this guide system for Commander Mastery, and I've never done Double C. I'm going to use this week to kind of catch up on some of the undone Commander Mastery guides that have been kind of missed throughout the years because I'm going to be on a trip with the family for a few days. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a bunch of content on the channel and make sure you guys have tons of content coming your way to watch while I'm gone. I'll certainly still be playing and on, but there will be no live streams coming. So I want to make sure that I try and catch up on those things so that you all have what you need. And then also, again, just try and make sure I have all the content out there that you guys want and then I want to put out as well. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go with Double C. First thing we're going to do is go over the skills. We're going to go over the actual builds, the talent builds that we would use on this commander if we use them as primary. We're also going to go over some quick pairings for Double C as well. And then finally, we're going to give a quick summary at the end on what I think Double C should be used for and how, and just in general, the best use for Double C if you're going to max him out. He is a gold key commander, so you can theoretically max him out without spending a penny. It's just going to take a while. Okay, so you just got to kind of bear that in mind. But that being said, let's go ahead and get started. First off, his primary skill, actually not bad, 1400 direct damage factor with a 40% attack reduction. That part of his skill kind of goes untalked about, unnoticed, and people forget about it. They just forget about it. It's a 40% attack reduction for 3 seconds. It's not bad to have on the battlefield when you're trying to take down targets. Have them do a lot less damage and then also try and nuke them down. And then a 10% march speed reduction as well helps them not escape you when you're trying to kill them. Okay, so very good. You're going to nuke them, you're going to reduce their damage, and you're going to make them slow to run away from you. So pretty good. Early game, whenever the game first came out, this was amazing. This was like one of the best skills in the game because Double C was one of the best parts of a 2-part combo on Cav that you could possibly get. Now it's been a little bit outshined, and we'll talk about that in a summary. Second skill, I'm not sure how to say this. The Kingsu Army. We've got troops led by this commander deal 50% increased damage to barbarians. This is all barbarian types, okay? So when you're talking about attacking things in the Lost Kingdom, marauders, all those good things, those are all considered barbarians. 50% extra damage is always welcome, okay? So that's always a good thing to have. Again, keeping in mind this is a cavalry, peacekeeping, and mobility commander for the talents, all right? Third skill, Tiger Knight. Okay, march speed increase of 10%. Again, you use this guy for speed. So you've got some speed, you've got some march speed reduction on the primary skill, so that's good. And then you have another cav attack bonus for you of 30%. So increasing your cav attack by 30%. Very nice. You should obviously be using this commander with full cavalry. This is not a mixed troop commander. This is a cavalry commander. Number 4, healing factor of 1,000, or not 1,000%, but 1,000 healing factor. So normal attacks have a normal attacks of troops led by this commander have a 10% chance to heal a portion of slightly wounded units. Healing factor 1,000, which is not bad. Dangerously close to getting towards Richard level, to be honest with you. Restore 100 rage and increase troops march speed by 20% for 3 seconds. My God. So you're getting 1,000 healing factor, you're getting 100 rage, and you're increasing your troop march speed by 20% for 3 seconds. That is not bad. And it can trigger once every 5 seconds, which basically means you should have a 60% uptime on this skill at all times. Usually you're probably going to be closer to the 40 to 60% range. Sometimes you can get lucky and get towards 80%. But ultimately, again, it's just a matter of having this thing fire off as much as possible. 60% is the average. So good skill. The 4th skill is a very good skill. Healing factor of 1,000 and 100 rage restored. And you get a 20% march speed bonus. Expertise is a new skill. And this is where in the late game, Double C starts to kind of decline. Okay. With the advent of equipment and the fact that making stats higher and higher and higher, needing the maximum statistics possible on the field and rallies, etc., garrisons, obviously. Anytime you're reducing your stats, it's a bad thing. So we've got the expertise for Double C being Cav units led by this commander have gained 25% increased attack at the expense of 10% reduced defense. So you're going to get an increase in 25% attack, but you're hurting yourself by taking away 10% defense. Defense is far more critical than attack when it comes to stats. So this is actually something that you may not want to actually click. Like if you can get to 5 and not click the expertise, you may actually be a little better off. That's how kind of off this expertise skill is. It's actually a detriment, I think, to double C. Of course, I maxed this commander well before equipment came out. This is a long time ago where the commander came out. So I've maxed him. We've gone through everything. It was worth it at the time because it was Mina double C all day, every day. And that's really what you used. Well, now to me, we're talking about double C. We just went through his skills. What does that mean? He's got plus attack. He's got march speed reduction. He's got march speed bonuses. He has a little bit of a heal. Decent nuke, but not amazing. And again, his expertise is kind of nerfy. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some of the builds that I've got. I really only have 2 builds for double C because honestly, he should not be used as a primary commander. If you still use him in today's game, especially if you're in Season of Conquest, he should be as a second to Saladin, to Mina, to XY, to any Cav commander really out there. You can still use him in that regard. But let's look at some builds. Again, if you need these builds, obviously you have them up in front of you, but in the description below, there's a link to my Discord for this channel. All these builds are there sitting there waiting for you if you want to go take a peek. As you can see, the first one we're doing is the farmer killing build with a crying sad face because I'm just not a huge fan of farmer killing. But it is a thing. People need this to be done during war sometimes. It's just, I'm not a big fan of that part of role inside of the game. But this gives you a maximum mobility as much as possible without taking away from some of the battle stuff. So obviously peacekeeping, there's a march speed bonus here with thoroughbreds. In the peacekeeping tree, if you go all the way down, which you'll see in the next build I show you, there's a lot of movement speed in here that can help you, but ultimately you're going to generally be faster than anything else that you're chasing down as a farmer killer build. You just want to have maximum damage, maximum defense, maximum skill damage reduction, and maximum punch for the first 10 seconds. Maxing that top skill for the Cav talent build, not a bad idea because you're going to be able to basically kill most things in 10 seconds if you're attacking farmers, right? So again, you're going to be doing that. And again, the mobility tree here gives you some movement speed, some extra damage reduction, some extra damage, and ultimately just, again, movement speed. So this is going to help you move fast and kill things quickly within 10 seconds, assuming they are farmers or farmer type builds. The other build I wanted to show you was the full mobility build, just to go as fast as humanly possible. This is the build that I use on my arc build when we're talking about running to try and capture the obelisk as quickly as possible. If we're rallying at the beginning the enemy obelisks and I want to get over there as quickly as possible, this is the rally build that I use. Just trying to get somewhere fast. You're not trying to be fancy. You're not trying to be attacking anything. This is just to move quickly from A to B. That's it. Okay, this is the build for you. This gives you all the maximum movement talents that you can possibly get on all 3 trees. And that's basically it. Now, there are some criteria type things like the equestrian talent over here on the far right, where if you're attacking somebody or if you take skill damage, or there's a couple different variants where if you receive damage or whatever, right, in the mobility tree, you get extra movement speed. You can go into those things too, but you're going to sacrifice raw movement speed for the potential to have higher movement speed in a certain situation. So take that into account when you're building your build. If you're going to be in the middle as an arc runner, a lot of times you will be hit by skill damage and by regular attacks, and maybe some of those other talents might make a lot more sense, but you're going to have charge. You're going to have all the raw movement speed bonuses on this build to get you from A to B really fast, just really fast. Okay. All right, let's go back to the game and let's talk about some pairings, and then we'll summarize what we're going to use double C for in the late game, or if you're a beginning player, what you can kind of bank on using him for. So pairings, again, I said from the get-go, from a battle perspective, double C should always, and I preach this on this channel 100% of the time, always be a secondary commander. If you put him as primary, you're not going to be able to take on any kind of battle combo on the field. It's just not going to happen. You'll get there fast. That's great. but you're not going to be able to actually take anything down. Skill damage tree versus the mobility tree is far superior. Support tree, like you'll see on Saladin and Constantine and Trajan and all the other really high-end open field commanding pairs that you'll see, will completely destroy a mobility primary commander. So with that being said, double C primary is the way to go. Minna is a prime example of a commander you want to have primary, 2 double C as a secondary. Another great one is Saladin. Saladin primary with double C secondary works very well. Again, he can kind of compensate for some of the defense loss from double C's expertise because of how defensive and tanky Saladin is. Genghis is another decent pairing, although he is super squishy as it is. Adding double C to Genghis, while it will pump out a ton of damage, is really a glass cannon. There is no defense on that pairing, but by itself, it's very, very strong as well. It's not too bad at all. You could even go William primary in this situation, William double C, and be perfectly fine. William does add defensive capabilities with his force skill. He does have some attack bonuses as well on his second, and I believe there was another one, but maybe not. Yeah, just the one attack bonus. But you have march speed reductions, although they don't stack. The primary march speed reduction from the primary on William and the primary from double C do not stack. 2 active skills don't stack. It's got to be an active and a passive, okay? The other ones that you could partner up with, certainly Zhang Yu would definitely work with double C, but again, Zhang Yu is definitely an attack-based commander, 40% attack bonus. You can see the difference between the later game commanders and double C with the bonuses, right? Look at the damage that Zhang Yu puts out, 1700, and it's an AoE, okay? Whereas, again, 1400 single target for double C. The stat bonuses that he gets from the second skill, 40% attack versus only 30% attack from double C. The march speed bonus, 15% here versus 10% on double C. So you kind of see what I'm getting at, okay? Plus you're getting damage bonuses on some of the newer commanders versus the old ones like double C. You can go Takeda if you want to, but again, you're basically marrying up 2 mobility commanders at that point. And again, we'll be super fast. Takeda will provide a little tankiness for double C, but again, you're not going to put any damage out. So I wouldn't really recommend that, but it is an option for those of you that just want maximum tankiness and movement speed on double C. I don't really see anybody else besides maybe a Pelagius. If you want to go epic, you can certainly go Pelagius double C. Very, very strong pair. In fact, I used that very early on playing Rise of Kingdoms. So if you're in an early game situation and you need to have a decent pair, Pelagius double C will definitely work. You also can go Baybar's double C if you would like to. Again, Baybar's primary with the skill damage, skill talent tree, and Cav talent trees. Again, all those talent trees are on my Discord. The link for that is in the description below on this video. You can also... That's basically it. Jadwiga? Maybe? No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So again, I've given you the best pairs. So again, Minna, Saladin, Genghis, William to an extent. Chandragupta. You can do Chandragupta primary as well. I did forget about Chandragupta. You can do Chandragupta primary and then double C secondary. And again, you're just nerfing a little bit of his tankiness, but you can in fact do that and it would work just fine. But again, as you start to really max out some of the later game Cav commanders and even some of the later game infantry and archer commanders too, double C just kind of goes by the wayside. So let's jump into the summary of double C and finally just kind of get him wrapped up and finally get his mastery guide on the books, people. Oh my goodness, it's a day. All right. So double C, what's he for? Really, at the late game, he's been relegated to somebody who needs to be able to move fast from place to place. So in situations like Ark of Osiris, in situations like going and getting a rune for battle, in situations like farmer killing, like you saw the build there earlier, any type of situation where you need to get from A to B very quickly, double C is a great primary commander for that. He's the go-to. Him, William's really good with that too, although as a secondary to double C William's a very strong pair. Same thing with XY, double C XY, one of the fastest pairings in the game, especially for Arc in the middle, because when XY is targeted and hit, he has a chance to increase his movement speed by a very large amount, making this combo even faster. So double C primary as a movement commander is very, very strong. Do not take him to the field as primary and expect to kill anything or get anything remotely close to a positive trade. You could actually take a negative trade just from the counterattack damage of the target that you're hitting because of how bad the mobility tree is against pretty much every other tree on the blue section of the talents in the game. Okay. So, movement speed, great way to use him. As a secondary, he is a suitable option for you in any cav situation where the cavalry commander that's primary is using either the skill or the support tree. Okay. It is usable. However, as the game goes on, especially if you're a decent spender into the game, he does start to get phased out in that role because you just have better replacements. Like I just went over, you've got your Williams, you got your Saladins, you got your Genghis, you got your Zhang Yu, you got your Chandraguptas. Okay, so they start to stack up and you start to run out of space in your marches for a double C. Early game, very strong because there's not many other heavy nuking commanders in the game that can come up against him. YSG obviously being the best one that I can think of, best example that trumps double C, but double C is a Cav commander, YSG is an Archer commander. Cav beats Archer generally. Now, I think YSG would still beat a double C primary Cav versus Archer group, but you can help take down a YSG maybe with double C as a secondary to a Mina, a Pelagius, things like that. Okay, so I hope this guide has been helpful. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment section below. Again, this is a sponsored content creation channel for Rise of Kingdoms. Make sure you hit that bell button for the notifications to pop up for everyday content. You're going to get all kinds of guides, tips, tricks on how to win and how to be good in Rise of Kingdoms. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one and take care.